Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone presented by BROC, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. If you need an orthopedic, go to BROC. PARISH Construction and Roofing. We love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com. Semaglutide, tirzepatide, the once a week injections for weight loss. They can do the whole thing via telemed, and they'll ship anywhere in the country. Uniquephysique.com, and of course Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. If you got pain, Crystal Poche, book a session, she'll help bring you out of it. All right, y'all, busy day here at the Scone house. The door, you're gonna hear the door open and close. You might hear some rattling in the attic. River City's 1 hour air is here. They are replacing our AC, so it's that day. Not a great day for a homeowner, you know what I mean? You'd rather spend that amount of money on something fun, like an exotic car or an exotic animal, or like, I don't know, thousands of pairs of shoes, a great vacation, multiple great vacations. But you got to have AC. And ours went kaput. And so they're great, though, man. Call me at 6 a.m. Crew's ready to head your way. They were here at 6:30. Boom. They've been jamming already for an hour and a half, ripping out the old one, getting the new one installed. So we'll be up and rolling today. All right. We'll say some good mornings here, y'all. LSU lands a wide receiver commit for the class of 2025, Philip Wright. Shouldn't come as a great surprise. Philip Wright's from Destrehan. He's 6 foot 170, has offers from everybody: Michigan, Georgia, Baylor, Georgia Tech, Auburn, Texas A&M, Miami, Mississippi State, Penn State, South Carolina, Nebraska, Missouri. Huge offer list. Legit track speed. He's a 10.4 in the 100. He's a 4.32 in the 40. He can fly. So legit track speed. Was committed to Michigan in July, was committed for less than a month. And once LSU really got in on him, he decommitted from Michigan, now commits to LSU on Friday. So 21st commit for the class of 2025 for LSU. And another in-state prospect, another kid from Destrehan, of course, Kalaj Cobbins is a freshman defensive end from Destrehan. Jace Thomas is a safety from Destrehan, committed for 2025. Now his teammate Philip Wright committed as well. And Tigers may not be done at wide receiver. Of course, they're still in on Jamie French, a 5-star out of Florida. Jerome Myers is also out of Utah, a 5-star, who's also considering LSU. So Tigers may not be done. I just got to keep reminding you that with the scholarship limits going from 85 to 105 next year, you're going to see bigger signing classes than normal. Remember, there's no hard cap of 25 anymore anyway, but still, with the scholarship limit going up, you got to fill a roster. You got to add 20 more scholarship players. So certainly that some of that will come in the portal, but a lot of that also is going to come through the high school ranks. And I think it's a huge advantage for Brian Kelly, because he has always said he wants to recruit and develop through the high school ranks and then supplement in the portal. And this allows you to take guys that might not be the 5-star, the high 4-star, maybe guys that are, in a day and age when you had an 85-man scholarship limit and a hard cap of 25 that you could sign, where, it's a signing day, like, I don't know if I'm going to have room in my class for you. Now you can take those guys easily, the borderline prospect, because you have 20 more scholarship spots to fill. So, I think you're going to see many, many more commitments and many, many more players in this class than you normally would. I mean, at 21, when it was a hard cap of 25, you'd normally be getting close to your number. Now, I mean, which to say they don't sign 35 or 40 in this class. So we'll see I don't know what that number is going to be, but it's going to be a lot more than 25, I'll tell you that. So, all right, let's say some good morning, y'all. It's also game day for the Saints. Who dat? Saints, Cardinals, 7 o'clock tonight. Let me know what you're interested in seeing. For me, obviously, it's the offensive tackles. Taliesin Fuanga, the starting left tackle. We'll see if Trevor Penning has a pulse at right tackle today. Lots of guys getting opportunities at receiver, and then of course the backup quarterbacks as well with Hayner and Rattler. We'll see how those guys do. So, all right, carrying big equipment through the house now. Look at that big old equipment. That wasn't that big, but that last thing took 2 guys with big old box things pumping air through the house. All right, let's say some good mornings. Y'all smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks for being there. Facebook, like the page, share the post, and all that good stuff as well. Hey, Ricky, good morning. Kyrie, Chef Curry with the shot. Boy, so poetic to watch LeBron, Steph, KD go carry. Yeah, man. You're a day late, though, man. But I'm going to tell you what, when the Americans were trying to make that comeback in the final minutes and Jokic got an easy look on a third chance opportunity, I was saying not nice things. But they made the plays, man. Let's go beat France, beat Wemby, and go get that gold medal. Kyle DeVille, morning, Matt. I know this is LSU video. Is there any chance Rattler plays today? Have a great day. Kyle, not an LSU video. This is an anything video. So morning Scone is you can ask anything about anything. And I also have in the description today the Saints Cardinals. So always feel free to ask me about the Saints. And yes, absolutely Spencer Rattler is going to play today. I think the big Rattler and I think Haener will go in first and Rattler will go in second after Carr. I do think Derek Carr is going to play today. Last year, Carr and the offensive starters played like one series of the first game, and that was it for the preseason for Derek Carr. I'm curious if they extend that because it's a new offense. Now, look, for Derek Carr, it was a new offense last year because it was his first year with the team. But it's a new offense for everybody this year. About 3 new offensive linemen, new timing with receivers. So I am curious to see if maybe we don't get a little more playing time from the starters. But yes, I mean, I think you'll probably start Derek Carr. Haener will likely get the rest of the first half, whatever that means. Like, let's say Carr plays a series or 2. I think Haener gets the rest of the first half, and you probably give Rattler the second half. And then next week, you probably switch those 2 guys. Let's see. Kyrie, we will not be denied. France dance, leather pants under any circumstance. America for the gold. I think they cleared the biggest hurdle, Kyrie, getting past Serbia and Jokic. But yeah, man, Steph with 36, LeBron with a triple-double. I do respect it tremendously, man. I mean, LeBron's almost 40 years old. He's got gold medals. He's got championships. He's got money. He's got everything. And he's out there playing like it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals. I don't know how anybody cannot respect what that man's doing. I mean, for all the talk about, Mondo being an American and competing for Sweden, then look at the flip side of that with LeBron, who's got everything you could possibly want. Championships, fame, wealth, family, he don't need to be playing these types of minutes in July when he's almost 40 years old, but he's out there because he wants to be and wants to win a gold medal, wants to represent the USA, and I love it, man. Good on him. Dale me, good morning. Jacob Yetu, good morning. Merrick Mathern, what's good? John, good morning. How's Drew? How much of the Saints offense do you expect to see tonight? Drew's doing good. Thanks so much. Drew and Eric are sleeping. So they're replacing the AC unit in our bedroom. And Drew, if you don't know, Drew does have a bed. Like, he sleeps in our bedroom, not our bed, but he's got a bed in our bedroom. So last night, Erica and Drew slept in our guest room, and I slept in our bedroom because 1 hour air they gave us the time window from 5 to 7 a.m. So I told them, maybe we could bump that a little. So I didn't want to have to wake them up. So I set an alarm at 5 a.m., woke up, and they called me a little before 6, ready to head this way. And so Eric and Drew were sleeping in there, but they're doing great. Anyway, yeah, Drew's doing great. Thank you. How much of the Saints offense do we expect to see tonight? I don't know if you mean how many players, like how long do we think starters will go, or how much, like how expansive, like how much of the new playbook do we see? I don't think they're going out there to show the NFL their entire offense. Now, Clint Kubiak has been an OC. He's been a play caller. Now, granted, he was in San Fran with Kyle Shanahan, so how much of that was Kubiak, how much of that was Shanahan? Obviously, Shanahan's the one that's really the offensive, savant. Everywhere he's been, his offense has been great, no matter who the quarterback has been. I mean, he made Matt Ryan an MVP. But I don't think we're going to see trick plays and a ton of stuff. I think they're going to go be pretty base tonight, but still excited to see it, man. Still excited to see how it looks. Larry Garner, good morning. Jesse Brown, good morning. Ready for Saints preseason? Any more info on Saints signing Simmons? No. So remember, so Dennis Allen met with reporters after practice on Thursday and kind of gave an update on what they liked about him, how long they've been talking to him. Effectively, something they talked about at the beginning of free agency. The sides are far apart. I think the closer you get to the season and Simmons is still unsigned, he's probably at a lower price, which meant they could re-engage in negotiations. I'd love to see them get that done. But remember, the Saints had a travel day on Friday and they played today, so there was no media availability yesterday. So on Friday, I should say. So no more info as of now on that. But I'm hopeful they get that done, because if anybody else, now I guess you could say this, when you sort of lower your price, you could engage a whole new market of potential suitors. So if Simmons has lowered his price, maybe there's other teams interested in, well, there might be a more attractive opportunity. But there's no doubt. I mean, at 30 years old, there's some teams that are younger and more talented. But with the Saints, Simmons signs with New Orleans, he's a day one starter, opposite Tyrann Mathieu, period. So he wants to come here, start, maybe sign a 1-year prove-it deal, kind of to the tune of what Chase Young did, Willie Gay did. Come on, I'm all for it. Cliff, good morning. Brian Penn, good morning from Canton, Mississippi, headed home. All right, Brian, drive safe today, man. Hope you're doing great out there. Daniel Cass, good morning. Jesse Brown, still paying on an AC unit on our house in South Carolina from 3 years ago. Whew. Yeah, man, I did 18-month interest free. So I was like, yeah, I would rather not stroke that check all in one fell swoop. So I was like, I will use someone else's money for 18 months. But I essentially just took on a second mortgage. That's what you got to do, though, man. John, I thought you just recently replaced Tracy. So, John, we have 2 units. We have one for the main part of the house, and then we have one in the bedroom. So the one in the bedroom is now the one that went out. So about 3 years ago, the one in the main part of the house went out. So we replaced that one. The one in our bedroom, though, was the one in our bedroom was the original one of the house. The house was built in 97. So when we moved into this house in 2016, when the guys from 1 Hour Air came out, they're like, this is kind of on its last leg. It could be any day. It could be a year. It could be. So but this is why I'll always say the maintenance is so important. Like that, when you do that standard maintenance. So we've kept up with the standard maintenance, and every now and again, we've had little fixes we've had to do, but I've been able to get another 8 years, 8 years of life out of it. Almost 7.5, almost 8. October will be 8 years. So yeah, man, it just got to the point now where the repairs were getting to be so costly. It was like, it's not cost effective to keep spending that much on an old unit every year. So just time. Shelby, morning, Scone. Feels good to be back in football mode. Yes, sir. Cliff, kind of need that full screen on the shot, or will the graphics always show a little on the top? It's supposed to be, it's supposed to be formatted to where you wouldn't see the blue and the green. Erica made the border, and she just made it by just looking at it, didn't really have the dimensions, and so how we look at it, we see. So she'll fix it. So everything on the side, everything on this side is going to have to move that way farther, and then this will come down, or the top and the bottom will come down. Anyway, yes, it'll fit. Merrick, what brand AC are they put in? Carrier. Derek, good morning. Armani Hayes, I think one more season like the one Neighbors and Thomas had together, and wide receivers will want to come here. I mean, Armani Hayes, wide receivers already want to come here. I mean, Odell and Jarvis and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Neighbors and Thomas. And I mean, LSU does quite well recruiting receivers. Daniel Cass, Air Jordan shoe to consider. Air Jordan 1 center court, white and gold. Let me see. Oh, Erica's got those. I got those for her for her birthday. She loves those. Oh, no, never mind. I got all the white and gold Jordan 1 lows, but it's not center court. It doesn't have the design on the heel. I don't love those. Not to poo-poo you. I'm sorry. I don't love that design on the back. Guy Brooks, morning, Matt. Happy Saturday. What are you looking for in the Saints preseason game? Yeah, so a couple things. I'm definitely keeping an eye on the 2 offensive tackles. How does Fwanga do? Head left and Penning do it right. The backup quarterbacks, and it's not to say if either of those guys, Hayner or Rattler, plays really well today, it means they'd be a great starter in the NFL. But the inverse is true, where if you can't hack it in a preseason game, there's no reason to think that you're a Sunday player in the NFL. I'm not saying one preseason game is a make or break, but you could see some encouraging stuff tonight. Do any wide receivers step up? I mean, after Olave, Shaheed, who do you have? And then I guess I'd also like to see some of the young draft capital, like it feels like for Peyton Turner, this is it for Peyton Turner, right? Like, it's contract year. They're not picking up his 5th option. What are you? And then Isaiah Foskey, high 2nd round pick last year. He was a 30s pick last year, and or was he the 40th pick? Was he? Foskey was taken number 40 overall. So, I mean, he was the 7th pick of round 2. So, I mean, this is a high draft pick who was basically a healthy scratch for much of last year. How much progress has he made? Let's see. Jesse, I want to see the backup quarterback in the matchup between Kool-Aid and Harrison Jr. That's a good point. Because Lattimore won't play, so Kool-Aid will start. I'll be curious to see if Kool-Aid ends up on Marvin Harrison Jr. or if that's going to be. Well, I don't even know if Paulson Adebo is going to play, actually. So yeah, we probably will see. We probably will see Kool-Aid against Harrison Jr. Yeah, that'll be fun. Daniel, Volcano Green, Lava Orange. Let's go Saints. Who dat? Okay. Walter Heisenberg, do we almost have too many wide receivers? It seems silly to say, but there's not enough ball for these guys to feel full. Wide receivers are hungry. I hear you. But you can't recruit you can't under-recruit your roster because you never know how something's going to play out. Like, remember Jonathan Giles when they brought him in from Texas Tech and they gave him the number 7 jersey and he was supposed to be awesome, and then it just didn't pan out. It really took Brian Thomas till his 3rd year to become a superstar, and then it happened. I don't know that many people thought Kyron Lacey would be here for 3 years, but here he is. And, it's just, you never know. So you have to keep recruiting to excess because you might have guys transfer. You might have guys injured. You might have guys not pan out. I mean, the best case scenario is that they're all awesome. And then you have a good problem on your hands. But you have to give yourself options or you're not doing your job. You're not building a roster properly. So I don't think, like, by numbers, you don't have too many receivers. You just have a lot of guys that are playing really well right now. I mean, you could have gone, in this offseason, you could have said, and not going to add C.J. Daniels and Xavion Thomas. And so then you'd be counting much more on guys like Shelton Sampson or maybe a freshman like Colin Billiot or Jelani Watkins. But, man, you got a chance to add a 1,000-yard receiver, you do it. You got a chance to add Xavion Thomas, who led Mississippi State in receiving and was an All-American, freshman All-American returner. You do it. So, Daniel Blunt, good morning. Glad football's here again. Me too, man. I was watching some preseason last night. Weston Weaver, good morning. Walter, gotcha, Walter. Yep. Tony, good morning from Phoenix. I'll be attending the Saints game and taking my parents to their first ever Saints game. All right, Tony. Enjoy, man. Hope it's a great day out there in the desert. Kyrie, Oh, wow. Way to point out me being a day late. Gotcha, man. Thank you for being there, man. Glad you're here whenever you are. Edward, what's going on, man? Good morning. What's up with the LSU defense? Is it going to be the same as last year? So, Edward, I would really hope and encourage you to go subscribe to the Locked on LSU podcast. I've been giving my practice reports there and giving a lot of overview thoughts. And by the way, we do have media availability at practice this morning at 9:45. So I'm going to shut this down at about 9 and get out to LSU. I'm not going to definitively say, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're going to be awesome. I think it would be disingenuous. I don't know how good they're going to be. But I will tell you this, undeniably, they are better than they were last year. Now, that doesn't take much because they were awful. But, I chart reps on the DBs against the receivers, the 7-on-7s, the 11-on-11 periods, the team periods, and the DBs are winning reps. Not all of them. Offense is still making plenty of plays. But that's a real, sincere challenge for that defense with those receivers and pass catchers, and they're making plays. I think LSU's defensive ends are good. Like, not good by comparison. Like, I think they are good. Savion Jones is 6'6", 280. He's going his fifth year. I think he looks good. Braden Swinson's a fifth-year player who should be back with the team on Monday. Deshaun Womack, I think, is going to be a really good edge rusher. PARISH Shand is a fifth-year player who's playing well. Like, they are good at defensive end. I don't know if they have an All-American, but they are good at defensive end. I think defensive tackles is a giant question for obvious reasons. But we watch team periods, and they're getting run stuffs. I saw Sean Washington and Gio Paez each get a sack from the interior in one of the practices last week in team periods. So all that to say, man, like, they're better. They're better. I'm not telling you they're great, but they're better already. So, LSU plays 3 weeks from tomorrow. How much better can you get still over the next 3 weeks? We'll see. Daniel, I heard y'all switched up the branding when PARISH Roofing. Are y'all going to do commercial as well as residential? Absolutely, Daniel. So, just to be very clear, we didn't switch up branding. We started a new company. So we broke away from the other company. Excuse me. So we broke away from the other company. The other company didn't rebrand. They still exist. We started our own company, and that's PARISH. And but it's all our same people. It's me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales. We've had great people. Trent Davis is one of our partners as well. Still Christina, our office manager. So when you call, we've made some great hires. Linda is on our staff who, with 30 years, in insurance as an adjuster. And so from that side, helping people file their claims, get claims approved. So we've got some amazing people. But anyway, to answer your question about commercial, yes. So we just hired a guy named Matt Pearson. To our commercial division had grown so big that we needed someone to be just the commercial roofing division manager. And so Matt's from Florida, and there's not a thing he doesn't know about commercial roofing. It's so impressive to hear him talk and engage and talk to customers about that and that process. But yes, so absolutely. If you have a commercial roofing job, we can do anything. Ryan, seeing there was actually Nuggets fans from the U.S. rooting for Jokic in Serbia, I'll never understand. Were there? Really? I didn't see that. I mean, I wasn't looking, but I had noticed. But yeah, I can't imagine that at all. Darren Haynes, good morning from Vermont. Okay, the great Northeast. Thanks for being there, Darren. Appreciate you for joining. Daniel, Edward Cooper, no, we're going to be pretty good. Juan, good morning. USA women's soccer going for the goals. Let's make it a golden Saturday. How about Sha'Carri winning gold? The Sha'Carri, the 4x1 yesterday was pretty cool. I don't know if you saw it, but the Sha'Carri Richardson was the anchor leg. She took the baton and the U.S. was trailing, and she overtook the rest of the field in the rain. And like as she's passing, she like just stares down the runner in the lane next to her, which is pretty cool. It's a great photo if you haven't seen it yet. Michael Cook, good morning. Darren, will having helmet audio receivers for opposing quarterbacks negate the crowd noise advantage Tiger State presents? I disagree, Darren. I actually think it helps. So like so what Darren's asking, if you're not familiar, college football now is going to a helmet comm system like the NFL uses. So quarterbacks will have communication in their helmet, so the offensive coordinator will be able to call plays into the helmet. So one of the things about the noise is, when you're just getting a play from the sideline, they're signaling in, noise doesn't affect hand signals. What noise did or does affect is calling your cadence at the line of scrimmage, which is why so many teams go to a silent count. But if a quarterback is using the helmet comm and it's so loud he can't hear the helmet comm, then I think the noise advantage is significant. Good question, though. Daniel, they will never take away our home crowd advantage. Thomas, has Doran reached out to you since your McConkey rant? No, I hadn't talked to CD. I think he's probably heard a little bit of it from everybody. But Chris Marler, who's handling all our social, does have that segment. He's supposed to clip it into a short, so that should be up on social soon. Armani, as an LSU track athlete, if you have a parent from another country, it's the better to make that team than the toughest team. I like Mondo representing Sweden. Armani, I don't know that makes a lick of sense, what you just said. It's better to make that team than the tougher team. So first of all, Mondo is the greatest ever to do the thing he does. He would have made any team. That's not the point at all. The point is, the reason he chooses to represent Sweden instead of the United States is because the Swedish Olympic Federation allows his parents to be his coaches. And then people have said things like, well, he's a rock star in Sweden and all that, which, by the way, he would be either way. But my point has been, will continue to be, I cannot imagine being born in the United States of America, living in the United States of America, growing up in the United States of America, and having the opportunity to represent my country and choosing to represent another nation. I can't imagine it. So look, Mondo seems like a great guy. He's obviously the best in the world ever to do the thing he does. He seems like a great guy. I'm happy for him and his family and all that. That's great. Go be happy, kid. 100%. I'm just in the opinion media. I give opinions. And my opinion is, I can't imagine having the opportunity to represent the United States of America and willfully choosing to represent another country. I would never do it. Brad David, good morning. Why do people say Ole Miss has a stacked roster when they're not even in the blue chip ratio? Because, Brad, the blue chip ratio doesn't account for the transfer portal. So you're looking at a rolling average of recruiting classes. They do have a blue chip ratio that includes portals additions, but I mean, guys like, Walter Nolan coming in, Princely Malalian, the defensive end from Florida. I never say his name right. They went and crushed the transfer portal. They added 25, 27 guys, whatever it was in the portal. And that's not counting toward your high school rolling recruiting average. Brett, is Ryan Day on the hot seat? Also, what are your 3 bold predictions for the SEC this year? Yeah, I don't know about 3 bold predictions. The one that I gave at Media Days was Bama loses 3 regular season games. I think they're minimum 9-3 this year. Is Ryan Day on the hot seat? Maybe. I mean, at some point you have to prove you can get over the hump. But if you can't, how impatient do they get? And I'll tell you, maybe one thing that Ohio State hates more than them not winning is watching Michigan win. So they've lost 2 years in a row to Michigan, or is it 3 years in a row to Michigan? Is it 3 years in a row or 2 years in a row? 3 in a row. So Michigan's won 3 in a row now, and just won a national championship. So that doesn't sit well in Ohio. Let's see. Armani, former LSU track guy. I'm old now. All right, Armani. Hey, man, you're a D1 athlete. I don't care what you do. I don't care how old you are now, when you competed, what sport you competed in. If you're a D1 athlete, you are such in a microscopic percentage of the world's population to be able to compete at that level, which is awesome, man. So congrats. Shout out Sha'Carri killing it on the anchor leg. Jamaicans on Twitter have been talking crazy just for their men to not even qualify, their women not win a medal. Yeah, I'm not that into it, Kyrie. Let's see. Club Ruckus, morning, Matt. Had a blast at the Texas Club last night. Met Alondra, chatted with her a bit. She was nice and cool. Bands were great. Cowboy Mouth is just how I remember them. So, man, I had major FOMO. Some of our staff was sending me pictures and videos last night. I had major FOMO not being at that show. But like I mentioned, I got LSU practice this morning, going to a celebration of life event later today for a friend whose father passed. And then tomorrow I'll be in New Orleans all day with Graham. So had to spend some time this weekend at home with Eric and Drew. So something had to come off the docket, and Cowboy Mouth on Friday night, unfortunately, was that. So anyway, glad it was a great show. Wayne, what's going on, man? Edward O, the Nuss Bus driver. What's up, man? Chance Babin, what are you going to ask Blake Baker today? So honestly, Chance, I'm not going to stay for the Baker press conference. I'm going to go to practice and head home because I need to relieve Erica. So I'll take Drew so she's got some errands to run, because then I have to go to the event I told you about is at 3:00. So I'm going to practice for the media availability, coming home to relieve Erica so she can go run some errands, and then I'm back. Sweet. Hey there, Matt. In covering LSU this offseason, what have you noticed about the defense in practice? Are they trending to looking better at all? Always great to see. Thanks. So I did answer this just a bit ago. By the way, please smash the like button if you would. If you're watching there on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post, all that good stuff as well. The thing that I think I've pretty consistently said, and I'm curious, so they're full pads, by the way, right now. Wednesday was the first day of full pads. Thursday, they had a recovery day. Friday, they were back on the practice field, but we did not get any media availability on Friday. So we'll see him again today in full pads. I'll tell you, Ashton Stamps, I think, is looking like a true number one corner. I'm not telling you he's Derek Stingley. I'm not telling you he's Tre'Davious White. I'm not telling you he's a first round pick, but I'm telling you he looks like a guy he looks like an SEC corner now. I think Major Burns in the star position, that new spot that in Blake Baker's defense, that sort of hybrid linebacker safety spot, the safety client in the box safety role, I think that fits his skill set really well. A lot of the biggest plays Harold Perkins has made so far in fall camp have been, quite honestly, in pass coverage. Now, a big part of that is because most of what we're seeing is 7-on-7. And so he is dropping in the coverage in those situations. Anyway. Armani Hayes, is it possible this day and age for our prestige to get high enough to trump NIL elsewhere? Well, Armani, I think every kid is different. Kirk, what's up, man? Good morning. I think every kid is different, Armani. For some people, it's just going to be about the highest NIL dollar amount, but that's not going to be true for everybody. For some, it's going to be playing time and maybe NIL as well. That's a supplementing factor. It really is. I think sometimes as fans, we maybe get consumed, maybe as adults, with the highest dollar amount. I don't think every young person is thinking in those terms, just who's going to give me the most money. That is certainly the case for some. But, I mean, Jonah Williams is a good example of this. So Jonah Williams is 5-star number one safety in the country. He's also an elite high-end baseball player. Like I've talked to baseball scouts who believe that he's at easily around one guy next year. Well, Jonah Williams, when Oregon got in on him as a as a two-sport star, and Phil Knight sort of talked about all this unlimited NIL, Jonah Williams very publicly said, I can't be bought. This is not just a highest bidder type thing. Okay, well, do you believe him? I mean, there's no reason not to believe the young guy. Comes from a good family, as I understand, in Galveston. I think his dad's a judge, maybe something like that. But his brother's a Major League Baseball player. So I believe that. I believe he's not just going to the highest bidder. But I do also believe NIL is going to be a part of it. DJ Pickett. I'll tell you, the offer LSU, the NIL offer LSU put out was not, as I understand it, was not his highest offer. Now, LSU's offer was really good. As I told you, it's the most money that LSU's collective has offered or is paying a player through the collective. But there were higher offers, so he didn't take the most. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really a case by case circumstance with NIL with respect to student athletes. Will Campbell, if Will Campbell would have entered the portal after last season, he could have gone somewhere and easily gotten seven figures, easily. Now he has the highest NIL deal on LSU's team right now through the collective, but it's not seven figures. But he could have easily gone into the portal and gone to the highest bidder and would have gotten $1 million minimum. But he stayed. Harold Perkins could have done the same thing, but he stayed. So it really is a case by case thing. Lance Hurd had a dollar amount. LSU wasn't willing to give it to him for his sophomore year, and so he went in the portal, went to Tennessee, who did give it to him. Okay. It's just going to be a case by case basis. Cameron, UFC fighters also do this. Born in a place, raised in a place, represent a different nation's flag. Kind of gross. Well, Cameron, I think the difference is where you train. Like there are UFC fighters that are born in a place, train in a different place, but represent their home country, which I don't mind that at all. Josh, good morning. On a non-LSU related note, our Sterlington Little League girls are going to the softball Little League World Series tomorrow on ESPN. They're representing our state. Well, awesome. That's great, Josh. Congrats, man. Congrats to the Sterlington softball team of the Little League World Series. That's great, man. Congrats to those young ladies. I hope they do awesome. Eddie O, can you chart all of Nuss and Ricky's throws in 11-11 and give an update on tomorrow? Yes, if we get to see 11-on-11. So, my notebook. Oh, my notebook's in my car. We don't get to see. I think we've seen more 7-on-7 than 11-on-11, and I have charted every play that I've gotten to see. And I'll break it down. I'll break it down for you. And I did that after one practice earlier in camp. And essentially what came back was like Ricky Collins had the biggest plays, but also had a pick. AJ Swan was 6 of 7, so he had a high completion percentage, but didn't really make a big play, didn't make a mistake. I think they're probably plays. I think Collins has the higher ceiling of the two, better arm. Certainly has the dynamic of being able to run, which he was great at when he was at Woodlawn. If you ever saw him play in high school, so he's a little more dynamic of a quarterback than Swan. But Swan's played and got himself in really good shape. AJ lost, I think, roster from spring to now. He's down 17 pounds. It shows. I just don't think either one has really differentiated himself. You know what I mean? I don't think one has just so clearly been better than the other, and they yeah, I think, and they're rotating, who goes first with the twos, second with the twos. We could watch the 7-on-7 when we go out there, and then Collins is going first, and the next period, Swan goes first in the 7-on-7. With the twos, They're just kind of going back and forth, you know. Let's see. Who Dat Dude and me. When you bring back 60 seconds of Scone. I can do that. You know what's funny about that? 60 seconds of Scone is essentially what YouTube Shorts is now. I mean, I was doing that. How many years ago was I doing 60 seconds of Scone? 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, it was before Reels and Shorts and all that were a thing, but it were just short 60-second videos, and I would do one every day. But I can absolutely do that. I should do that anyway on YouTube Shorts. Yeah, I should be doing YouTube Shorts anyway, because you can get organic reach. That's how you grow a channel. Anyway, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a notification in my phone for myself to do a short every day. So 60 seconds of Scone, call it what we will. But Daniel Roof, morning, Matt. Do you see special teams for LSU improving this year? We got to see some punting periods on, what day was that, Wednesday? And it was not good. Now, it was impressive that they had 4 starting players from defense on the punt team. Off the top of my head, Sage Ryan, Harold Perkins. I don't know if I counted Parrish Shand. Who else? Greg Penn. I had 4 defensive starters on, maybe it was Major Burns was the 4th. Not Shand was on there as a personal protector, but Burns was the other. 4 defensive starters on the punt team, so they're committed to that. Damian Ramos. Somebody told me at practice they saw him make a 64-yarder. I didn't see that. I did see him make from 50, and I was standing at the goal line, so he made from 50. And then they scooted back, but I don't know if they went back 2 yards, 3 or 5 yards, whatever it was. And then he made again. So Damian Ramos looks really good. Obviously, they got plenty of returners back there. It's Xavion who's battling a little hamstring injury right now, but Aaron Anderson, Javen Nicholas, Jelani Watkins. Oh, I wish I had my notes. God dog it. I think I have them in this notebook. Yeah. God dog it. Anyway. But the punters are struggling. I mean, Oxendorf, they each did 5 kicks, like on a full punt team coverage and everything, like run it, snap it, punt it, run down the field. Like Oxendorf boomed his first 2. His next 2, he kind of hit knuckleballs. And then the 5th one, it was Shankopotamus. I mean, it was a 90-degree turn to the opposite field. Punt probably netted 12 yards. I mean, it was like, oh my God. That is far from decided with Peyton Todd and Oxendorf. Joseph Baggert, good morning. Let's see. Cameron, that's not what I'm describing. Okay. Oh, the fighters. Well, then give me an example. Cortland. Hey, Dad, good morning. Hey, Xander, how long till we're back being elite in the secondary? Well, that's going to take recruiting. And look, I'll tell you this, man. You have 3 true freshmen running with your 2s right now. You got DJ Pickett committed, who's the number 1 corner in the country. You're very much in the mix for Jonah Williams, who's the number 1 safety in the country. I mean, it is plausible to think by next year, especially if some of the guys on the roster right now continue to develop. A guy like Ashton Stamps goes into his junior year next year as a 3-year starter. If Jordan Allen, who's starting at safety right now, comes back, has a really good year, you add DJ Pickett, you add Jonah Williams. Eventually in 26, if you add Blaine Bradford, who's the number 1 safety in the country from Catholic, I mean, you can see the talent level is increasing dramatically. That's not even debatable. And they're playing more sound football. Corey's just going to make sure they do. So they're getting there. But I think, when this crop of freshmen get to their draft years, I think you'd start to look at them again to say, okay, that looks like what it's supposed to look like. Let's see. Ken Martin, who cares? Okay. You know, I say this often, but we should all say a prayer for Ken. Like seriously. Because I'll never understand in life spreading negativity, like doing something just to be negative and introduce negativity to people's lives. Like, because you get one opportunity to live. Like every second that passes, you're one step closer to the end of your life. That's a morbid way to look at it, but it's true. Like you can never get more time. So I will never understand ever people choosing to do things that they don't like, that bring negativity into their life and the lives of others. So whoever that guy is, imagine just the sincere state of unhappiness that you must feel in life if you're going to take parts of your life, minutes of your day that you can never get back, and go try to spread negativity into other people's lives. I just can't imagine that. I just love people too much. I love trying to help people. I love trying to be positive. So y'all think about Ken today. Say a prayer for him. And if he's still watching, I hope all is well with you, man. I wish you nothing but good things in life. Eddie O would love to see Ricky be QB too. Honestly, I think that's where it's trending. Like if you made me say, all right, if they were playing game today, Nuss rolled an ankle, someone had to go in, I think Ricky would go in. Just a total guess, but I think he would. Brett, are NIL deals public record? No, not public record. Now, there are some states, like I think Texas requires their schools to disclose some of them. So you can see records, but they do not have to be public record, no. Star Hill Stunners, will the Saints take a look at Juju? They should. Talked about it yesterday on AFR. Absolutely. And I don't know what went wrong in New England to where they would eat dead money for 2 years on a guy they gave a 3-year, $33 million contract to. But I ain't worried about Saints culture at this point. They need better players. And Juju Smith-Schuster is better than anybody they got after Olave and Shaheed. Good morning, Matt. Lad McConkey. I wish Lad McConkey tons of success. I hope he has a great career, a long, successful career. I have nothing against Lad McConkey whatsoever. I just cannot fathom what was going through Chris Doering's mind when he included Lad McConkey among the top 10 SEC receivers of the last decade, ignoring players like Brian Thomas, Deebo Samuel, Laquan Treadwell, Jalen Waddle, Henry Ruggs, Ricky Pearsall, Terrace Marshall, Evan Stewart, Luther Burden, Xavier Legette, DK Metcalf, Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, George Pickens, Traylon Burks, Van Jefferson, my goodness, Kadarius Toney, Christian Kirk. How in the world did Chris Doering have Lad McConkey, who had 14 career touchdowns? Brian Thomas had more touchdowns in 2023 than Lad McConkey had in 3 years combined at Georgia. McConkey never had more than 750 receiving yards. I think his best year was like 756 receiving. What in the holy name of God is Chris Doering thinking? Chance, does PARISH have an NIL deal with PARISH Construction and Roofing yet? Does not. We're open to it, though. We're open to growing our Hometown Heroes program. Jerry G, what's going on? You ready for it, huh? Saints football. Let's go. Let's go. Eddie O, Jerry Rattler time. Yep. See Spencer Rattler tonight. It is 9 o'clock. I got to get going. Y'all got to get out to LSU practice. Cortland, just learned yesterday, member Cowboy Mouth is a master brewer for PARISH. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Darren, morning, Matt. Pray we can keep LSU football staff together for a few years. They're killing it on and off the field. Merrick, what day was the Doering rant? That was Thursday. It was Thursday in hour 3, like near the end of the show. Might have been like the second to last segment of the show. Read my wife the wide receiver SEC list, and she was like, who is Lad McConkey? Cortland, I can guess why Ruggs might not make the list. I don't care. I do care, but this isn't a list about his off the field stuff. It's why O.J. Simpson's in the Hall of Fame and should be. He's great. He's a great running back. He killed 2 people. Now Henry Ruggs made an awful life decision, and it was tragic, and somebody died. And he's going to be in prison for that, and should be. But if we're just looking at receivers, yes, he belongs on the list before Ladd McConkey. Merrick, is there a Parish hat party plan? Not yet, Merrick, but I'm glad you brought it up. We're in our new office now. By the way, if you're driving, do me a favor. I really need morning sconers here to unite. If you're driving down I-10, our sign went up yesterday. So if you're driving down I-10 at Highland, like directly across the interstate from, where Blue Bayou is, like directly across the interstate from Blue Bayou, you cannot miss our sign, especially at night because it's all lit up and it can change colors and everything. So take a picture, tweet it, share it on Instagram, share it on Facebook, tag me, tag Parish so I can share it. Would love to get some organic reach around that. So please check it out if you can. But yes, we will plan a Parish hat party very soon. Maybe for a Saints preseason game. That might be a good, or maybe like a week 0 game. That might be a good excuse to do it. Cameron, Bilal would be an example. Born in Chicago, raised in Chicago, carries a flag that isn't a place he trains. Leon Edwards reps Jamaica and England. Evan O'Malley. Got to check all that. Cool. Tate Granger, bring your Florida water. Your Florida water. Ron Swanson, morning, Matt. Wanted to give an update on my supper club experience. Okay. She got the sea bass. I got a ribeye. Both were amazing. I knew it, but the short rib burn ends were incredible. Thanks for letting me know, Ron. Glad y'all had a great dinner. The ribeye's great. Sea bass is great. The short rib burn ends are an appetizer, and you just have to get them. Like, you just have to. The rolls are awesome too. I'd always recommend that as an app, but get them for the table. But Ron is right. You should get them. Okay, Kelly Gross, good morning. Y'all, we are done. I got to get out. The LSU football media availability starts in 44 minutes, so I got to get going. So y'all have an awesome day. Please support all the people that support us. BROC, PARISH, Unique Physique, Restored Motions. All those links are in the description of this video, so please click there. You need an orthopedic, go to BROC. You need a roof, give a shout at PARISH. Unique Physique, semaglutide, tirzepatide, once a week injections for weight loss. Remember, they have telemed options, so you can go through the consult over the phone. You don't have to go in or meet anybody, and they can ship anywhere in the country. So if you're watching outside of Baton Rouge, they can ship your medicine to you. Super easy. Unique Physique. And, of course, Restored Motions. If you're in Baton Rouge, you're in pain, book a session with Crystal Poche. Trust me, she will get you out of it. It will change your life. RestoredMotions.com. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. Who dat? Peace.